In February 2024, he world-witnessed a moment of quiet resurrection. A team of engineers and students, one from Berlin, one from Nebraska, one from Zurich, unlocked the words of a man who had been silent for 2,000 years. They used no ink, no paper, no hands, only light and code. Through the Vesuvius challenge, they trained an artificial intelligence to read inside the carbonized scrolls of Herculaneum scrolls buried by ash and fire when Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 AD. Inside that ancient library, every papyrus had turned to coal. For centuries, archaeologists believed them lost forever, black cylinders so fragile that touching them meant destruction. But the machines could see what the human eye could not. Beneath the cracks of carbon, the algorithm detected patterns, the faint geometry of Greek letters. And then, a voice returned from the ashes. The decoded passage came from a work by Philodemus, a philosopher of the Epicurean school. In the text, he debates the nature of pleasure, wealth, and the pursuit of happiness, a meditation written in the shadow of Rome, preserved by disaster. It wasn't just ink they had found, it was consciousness. The human mind, suspended in time, now revived by an intelligence born 2 millennia later. The team's success earned them the $700,000 grand prize. But the reward was far larger than money. It proved that the unreadable could be read. And suddenly the world realized there are still hundreds of these scrolls waiting in the volcanic dark, untouched, unopened, filled with the thoughts of those who built the ancient world. The scrolls come from the Villa of the Papyri, the grand residence of Lucius Calpurnius Piso, the father-in-law of Julius Caesar. In his home stood the only known library from the classical world that has survived intact, albeit under 30 meters of hardened volcanic rock. When Vesuvius erupted, molten ash entombed the villa instantly, sealing its treasures like a time capsule. Excavated in the 18th century, the scrolls were unrolled by hand, their edges turning to dust. Some scholars tried acid baths or steam. Most experiments ended in ruin. Out of roughly 1,800 scrolls, only a fraction have been opened and many remain sealed, preserved but invisible. Until now, the problem was simple and impossible. The ink was made of carbon. The papyrus was made of carbon. To an X-ray, they were indistinguishable. But machine learning thrives on subtlety. Engineers used high-resolution 3D CT scans to capture microscopic differences in density and curvature. Then they trained AI models to recognize textures that corresponded to ancient strokes of a brush. At first, it saw nothing. Then, letters emerged. Curves became words. Words formed ideas. The first readable text described a philosopher's reflection on the enjoyment of life. It wasn't random, it was deliberate, as if the universe had chosen that theme to echo across time. If this technology scales, it will change history. There are hundreds of unopened scrolls still buried in Herculaneum, and perhaps thousands more undiscovered beneath the layers of the ancient city. Many scholars believe the villa once housed not only Epicurean writings, but entire sections devoted to Aristotle's lost dialogues, Roman histories, and Greek tragedies we have never seen. The possibility is staggering. New philosophies, new sciences, perhaps even the missing volumes of Plato's Timaeus or Aristotle's Poetics too, the continuation of thought cut off by time. For 2 millennia, the West has built its identity on fragments. Now, for the first time, we might read the full sentences. But not everyone welcomes the idea. Some classicists worry that AI will misread the subtlety of ancient scripts, projecting modern errors into sacred texts. Others fear that digital automation will erode the role of human expertise, replacing scholars with machines that interpret. And still others question what we will do with this recovered knowledge. If long-lost works contradict the narratives that have guided civilization for centuries, if they reveal, for example, suppressed histories or forbidden science, so will institutions respond? Silence has always been a form of control. Now silence itself is being decoded. Behind the technology stands human devotion, Luke Farritor, a former SpaceX intern, Youssef Nader from Germany, and Julian Schilliger from Switzerland. 3 young researchers who spent sleepless nights training neural networks, analyzing voxel data, and chasing the ghost of a forgotten alphabet. They spoke often about a kind of awe knowing that each pixel they processed might contain the thought of a philosopher who lived under Caesar. When they finally read the first clear word porphyros, meaning purple, they said it felt like the past itself was breathing. Meaning purple. They said it felt like the past itself was breathing. From that moment, they knew the ancient world was not gone. It was waiting. What if this is only the beginning? The AI that read Herculaneum's scrolls could soon read others, the charred manuscripts of Alexandria, the sealed codices of Petra, even the parchment fragments found beneath medieval bindings. We could recover the intellectual DNA of civilizations. And what if among them lie texts we never imagined, lost dialogues of Plato, early astronomical tables, or forgotten histories of vanished lands like Atlantis, written not as myth, but as record? The line between legend and data could begin to blur. Not because we invented new myths, but because we finally learned to listen to the old ones. This isn't the first time we've unwrapped silence. Years before, the Engedi scroll burned in an ancient synagogue was virtually unrolled using CT scans, revealing the Book of Leviticus. In Petra, similar sealed scrolls remain unread, awaiting new methods. Each time technology advances, a fragment of history whispers again. From magnetic resonance to photon tomography, every layer of stone and ash hides another library. Our planet itself has become an archive, and AI is learning the language of its ghosts. The story of the Vesuvius Challenge isn't about ancient philosophy or AI triumph. It's about continuity, the dialogue between 2 epochs of intelligence. 2,000 years ago, a scribe dipped his brush in ink and wrote under lamplight, unaware that one day his thoughts would be read not by eyes, but by algorithms. And yet, through all the noise of centuries, his voice survived. We stand now at a crossroads of memory and machine. Each line recovered from those scrolls reshapes not only history, but identity. The past is no longer buried. It is digitized, decoded, and breathing through circuits. In the beginning, there was only ruined, charred scrolls, shattered columns, the silence of a civilization buried alive. Now, through patience, mathematics, and code, the Library of Ash speaks again. Not in the language of myth, but of data, not through excavation, but revelation. The same volcano that destroyed knowledge has preserved it. The same species that burned its own books has now taught machines to recover them. The first word was purple, a color of emperors, of rarity, of rebirth. Perhaps it was an accident. Or perhaps, across 2,000 years, someone wanted us to know that nothing, once written, is ever truly lost.